The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the New Media Factory. Some programs on this network might include strong images and language and may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of theBobberyCast. As usual, I still don't have any clue, but then again I'm not wearing a retina burning shirt either. Today we have a special guest. It's not Jay, who is still stuck in traffic, or so it goes. But we have one of the most important and most successful people in our startup scene. Despite him being from France, but we won't hold that against him.
Say the Belgium guy.
Okay, like no knives out, or not that you will see, maybe in the afternoon or later. Fred, thanks for joining us. Mind introducing yourself?
Thanks for the invitation, and I used to read your article and watch your podcast, so it's good to be part now of your hunted list.
Finally.
So I'm in Philippines since 7 years actually, and we, with two other partners, opened first Netbooster Asia, who was based in Philippines and was the biggest digital agency with around 200 people. Then we opened also in Indonesia, and we sold recently the group to WPP. And in the meantime, we opened a flash sales website. Actually, we were the first one in 2010. And things went well, so that's why my two partners jumped in the WPP adventure. They are now working for WPP, but still shareholder. And me, I stay focused on CashCashPinoy.
So you came here, you launched one of the top digital agencies in the Philippines. You launched the first group deal site or flash sale site.
Actually, we also launched a dating website.
I remember that going viral.
Love Republic. We launched it at the same time than CashCashPinoy, and that's how can I say that? That's a funny, not funny story, because we had investor on that company, and it worked very well. I mean, we reached in less than 4 months 100,000 active members. We even had already 2 people married. So. But unfortunately, our GM was a foreigner, and he just lost contact with reality, as it can happen sometime. So we lost our GM. Yep. It was impossible for me to run the two companies at the same time. So we had to stop the activity despite the success and refund our investor because we still had the money. So definitely that proves that there is a lot of opportunity in the digital scene here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like in last 18 months, a lot has been happening actually here in the Philippines. Carlo Oakley, for those wondering why I make crazy signs, Carlo Oakley of the Unbox podcast is pulling funny figures against the window. Oh no, he's leaving. Anyway, like in last 12 to 18 months, a lot has been happening. Is that a logical evolution according to you, or was it like, has it been rather slow in the Philippines for things to take off? Because Filipinos online, they are actually well known for their work they do. A lot of countries hire locally Filipino digital workers. What do you think of the scene? Was it a surprise it took so long, or?
I think there is. Is it so late, or is it so fast? That's the question. Actually, if I compare to when I arrived in 2007, there was absolutely nothing. I remember that in 2011, I think, I don't want to say something stupid, but I think in 2011 they had less than 600,000 people on Facebook, and now it's the highest penetration rate in the world. So I would say that maybe things took time to start, but when it starts very fast. Because if I compare now what happened in the last 12 months, a lot of things changed. Just if you take our industry, see, we opened in 2010, or let's say September, so it's really at the end. But 2011, you already had some worldwide champion who come in Philippines, like Groupon, Living Social. And 1 year after, you have another worldwide champion, Rocket Internet, who decided to use Philippines as his key backbones for all the region. No one would have believed that 6 months before. So in a way, things are moving very fast. Now, there is also some facts that are true not only in digital scene. Fact number one, Philippines has a lack of, how can I say that? It's not enough known. If you talk to any European, you know, right? They all say Indonesia, that's their first reflex. They don't think about Philippines, which is a big mistake, but that's a fact. A second thing, maybe people are really more conservative here, so it's complicated to make them jump. And when I say them, it's developer, I mean it's resource, it's investor, it's sometimes even set up partnership. So I think the scene needed a trigger, and the first trigger was Facebook. Even if you were living in a cave, suddenly you realized that there was something with internet in Philippines. And then the second trigger was this sparkle of group buying, flash sale, however you call it, who became the sparkle of e-commerce. And suddenly people now, since 12 months, they start to realize that they can make not just awareness or buzz, or call it the way you want, but they can make money. And suddenly it changed the whole ecosystem.
But there is not so much, to be honest, in the whole ecosystem.
It's coming.
It's still very contained, although we always say it is buzzing. There's a good vibe going on, I think, at the moment, but as I said before as well, I don't see a lot in the shadow.
It's true. It's as of today, there is how can I say that? There is still not a lot of projects who are popping up. But if you check, for example, once again, our industry, I remember in 2011 you had even 2012, you had maybe 50 websites. And now ultimately you have what? 3 who really get the lead on the top, 1 on a side deal grocer who is on a side market, but who is also leading on his own way.
And they're doing Taste Central as well.
And they launch something else, they try to optimize their penetration on their target, which is the Super A. I'm just saying it's not, there is a lot of people who run, but at the end there is only a few seats to take. The point now, I think, is on this basic digital business, there is still a lot of seat to take. We were talking about dating. We proved that there was a market. As of today, there is still no one. You could talk about price comparison. You could talk about getting loan online or compare insurance. I mean,
there is price comparison, as you may know. I'm also an affiliate networking marketing. I'm wondering, why not yet? Those two go hand in hand, of course.
It's a classic digital business who work everywhere, so that should work here. So I'm just guessing that in the 24 coming months, you will see this champion. Who are they? Maybe they are now in a garage or in a student room or whatever. They will pop up. So yes, you're right. It's slow, but personally, I have the feeling that now things are moving. We were talking just before the broadcast about the seed. I remember Cash raised some seeds, raised a Series A, which I think is the only startup who raised a Series A in the country. But to be honest, we had access to business angels outside of the countries, or else we wouldn't have found anyone here. But now things are changed. Now if you're looking for $50,000 US in the Philippines, there is door to knock. Globe, Smart, and a few others.
It's starting,
24 months, I mean, that's 1 year ago, maybe these things pop up. The year before, there was no one. There was absolutely no one. So for me, that's a sign.
I remember when I arrived here in 2010, it was first reflex, where's the local startup scene? Oh wait, there is none. And then like suddenly it exploded.
Yeah, and then that's the Filipino way. I mean, it's everywhere.
From zero to...
For example, before there was not any international event here. And now you have 500, the Angel Hack, the Echelon, the Manila Weekend, whatever, gigs on the plane, on the beach, on whatever. It's spreading. So I think that's really the local way to do things.
I do think that in the Philippines it will be the country with the highest density of startup weekends. By 2015, I can imagine Filipino way we will have like 30 startup weekends.
One per province also, yes. So it helps. No, but definitely it's moving. I think the next challenge, I mean, that's still the challenge now, it's the lack of mentor. Meaning it's tricky to find people with experience who can drive the young people, focus their energy, raise the good issue from start. So I think that's the tricky thing, and it's not only true for mentor, it's true for any type of talents. Found developers, it's a nightmare. Not only here, everywhere in the world it's a nightmare, but it's worse here. It's also
why do you think it's worse here in the Philippines?
Because I think the problem is you have a limited number of schools who provide very good developer. If I take the example of marketing people, for example, I was working in an advertising agency, so I see first thing UP, Ateneo, La Salle, then the rest. That's the way they think. I'm not saying it's good. That's just the way it works. The problem is this free university, they can only deliver a maximum number of graduates every year. And these people are already robbed by Coke, Enkel, Procter, Globe, Smart, whatever. So at the end of the day, for startup scene, you have a limited number of profiles. So that's the tricky thing, I think. This global environment doesn't train enough people. And the second problem, Filipino are very good. They are very good in marketing, they are very good in development, they are easy to discuss with, easy to work with. So the problem now is Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, they came and they stole the profile. And of course for a local guy, suddenly you go abroad, wow, you pay more than here, wow. Yeah. So that's where also it becomes tricky. Me, for example, I know at CashCash, we have not a very big team, so it makes things easier to keep your people. But in my dev team, for example, the only two that I lost, one went to work in Europe, the only one went to work in Singapore. And I mean, of course, you cannot compete. What do you want to say to, okay, you pay double, okay, you go in Singapore. Yep. Good luck, have a nice trip. What do you want to say?
Yeah, I think for startups, I think we have two issues when it comes to developers. A, competitiveness is not part of the education. It's not like in Hong Kong or Singapore trying to be number one, or even in the Valley with all four. But the bigger issue is it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's too easy to make money for a developer.
Because there is not a lot.
They go on Odesk, on Freelancer, who are really active hiring.
And they are rare, and what is rare is expensive. So I agree with you on that. On the first point, I'm a little less agree, because honestly, I heard a lot the lack of competitiveness, this type of things. Honestly, in CashCash, I hire everybody. I mean, the front desk girl, I'm the one who hire her. Before coming here, I had an interview with an intern. I'm the one who pick up everyone. So yes, you have to give of yourself.
Yep.
But on the other way, I cannot say that my team is not competitive. We just released a new version of the system, for example. They stay until midnight, 1 a.m. They came during the weekend. The dev team, like in the Valley or like in Paris, from what I know, they spend several nights to make it happen on time. So I think there is a generation of people who have definitely integrated this, what you call, competitive mindset. Maybe also it's because you have to adapt the system to make this thing happen. I give you an example. At CashCash, 90% of the people have incentive. It's incentive based on productivity, quality, result, whatever. And that from the logistic to the customer support to the sales team to dev, they have incentive. So that built that mindset also. I think that's the way to shape it.
And with you guys, contrarily to other situations there have been, it's not a carrot.
I know it's
at Cash, you do pay. It's not here are incentives and they never happen.
Of course, no. I mean that's that's also another thing that people have to say you have the politic guy that you deserve. So I think you have the startup ecosystem that you deserve. It's the same thing. If you start, I don't know, to not pay your merchant on time, in my case it's partner, supplier, call it the way you want. If you start to sell thing which is not really what you're selling, if you start to sell hotel, for that example, and overbook the hotel, if you start to sell items which are fake items, I mean, if you start to create this lack of trust for the consumer, of course the ecosystem will suffer on that and the digital consumer will not trust you. So in a way, at this point I'm saying we will have what we are building. So if I pay my guy on time, if I give incentives which are doable,
they will work.
Yeah. Or another thing, when I hire someone, I tell them, here it's not a big bank or a local insurance company, meaning if you're good, you can be promoted in 6 months. And I have case studies. I have a girl who was janitor. She was janitor, but we noticed that she was spending a lot of time on laptop to check what the other was doing. So now she's leading the fraud team, which is the team who monitor the transaction. I have a guy start with me by making layout during the night. It was less than 1 year ago. Now he's handling a team of 10 people. And I don't care if he is 35 years old, or if I have 10 years of experience. He proved his value. You get the benefit now. The sales team leader for all the retail aspect at Cash is 26 years ago. 2 years ago he was selling timeshare Boracay on the beach. But he's with us since 2 years. He's super dedicated, super good result. He understood the way we work. So I'm just saying, you don't bullshit them. You tell them and you do what you said. So
and then it all comes back.
Exactly. That's why I think this competitive spirit, maybe I'm wrong, but I have the feeling that at Cash we have it.
It needs to be cultivated.
Probably, and you also need not to disappoint them, because probably they heard so many BS that another one. So it's part of the system, but I think it's really a virtuous cycle. The more people will set up and manage their business like that, the more this spirit will spread.
So you guys, a little more than 2 years ago, you basically created e-commerce in the Philippines.
It's a big word. No, I think.
Well, I'm old school.
I like.
I'm old school. I'm sorry, RJ.
Give me love. I like it.
RJ knows that classifieds are not e-commerce for me.
Let's say that for me, the number one e-commerce player, and which is still, it's Cebu Pacific.
Yeah.
He is the one who give a good reason for Filipino to buy online. Hey, buddy, you want the 1 peso fare?
Yeah.
You have to use your credit card, you have to go online, or else the 1 peso fare, you don't have it. No, don't go to the travel agency, she doesn't give it. So I think they are the number one, with good and bad side. For example, the bad side is in the head of the consumer now, buying online is buying cheaper. Or else, why buying online?
But so that's always been like, come on, I was in Europe. And,
no, in Amazon, for example, Amazon you buy because it's convenient, because it's delivered 24 hours, because you have this asset.
Yeah, but the prices of Amazon were also always good.
Come on, in Belgium, in France?
In Belgium I've left since a long time, but like in Germany and UK it was always solid prices.
Yeah, but it's not the best one. I mean, I know, for example, if I want a DVD player, I will not go on Amazon. That's not the best price.
I still consider it for books.
Yeah,
I'm really getting older, but like
it's true for books, but because it's tricky to make discount on books.
Yeah.
But as soon as you go to consumer electronic or that type of thing, they are not very good. And you know what? It's okay. These are not their forte. These are not what they are emphasizing.
Yeah.
They will tell you the delivery, the warehouse, the hub, that's their thing. So I'm just saying here, for the moment, what people consider is online cheap. So that's why Cebu is really the one who evangelized the market. Now, when we arrived, the tricky thing for us was, okay, what could we propose to set up an e-commerce sustainable activity who would fit with the local needs, the local expectation? So, you know, food, discount, okay. Groupon was the right move. But since the start, how can I say that? We knew that it was not something sustainable. That's why we moved very fast to product. Because the problem is there is only one market for food, spa, whatever, Metro Manila. And the second market is nationwide with a big N. You cannot propose only restaurant or whatever for Cebu. The inventory is much more too limited. And in a way, your market also is kind of reduced. So that's why we moved to product. But the tricky thing is you have to build everything from scratch. If I was managing CashCashPinoy from France, from Paris or London or whatever, I think we will be in an office big like this studio with maximum 10 people. Everything would be outsourced to different partners who already have the flow, the process, and whatever. As of today, that's not the case in Philippines. If you want to be able to manage this type of e-commerce flow, you have to control everything from A to Z. And at CashCash for the moment, I mean, as of today, we handle everything from the sourcing in China, US, Europe, US, the sourcing until the logistic. Everything is done in-house.
You also cover the logistic.
Even the logistic. The only thing we outsource is the truck. But for example, when I work with, to give you an example, with a freight company or a courier company, I don't sign their contract. They sign my contract with my penalty program, my process, my flow. And when we hire a courier company, we don't hire him. We hire him for a specific type of product and to a specific area, because we know he's good for that. He will not maybe not good for that volume of items or that area. So all the mapping and the logistic is done in-house, because that's the only thing. And trust me, we fought to outsource completely to one company. We did it. We brought back it very fast. So that's the tricky things now. You really have to control your complete flow. That's the only way if you want to control the quality. And in e-commerce, that's the key.
So then we had, after CashCashPinoy, in the months after, the whole explosion of group deal sites. And then Rocket came.
Rocket came. Rocket is here. And
nothing is moving, you say.
Hopefully Rocket will stay.
I think they will stay.
So good. I mean,
I think they are very good at assessing, because actually there is a niche which is totally covered in the Philippines, unless a new player could disrupt them, but it's food delivery.
Panda.
And they closed Panda.
Yeah,
they are raising in Singapore and
everywhere except in Philippines. It's weird. When you see the map, it's everywhere.
But the niche is closed in the Philippines.
Because of city delivery.
City delivery to anyone, and there's a third one. And that went rather quietly. That niche, suddenly there were 3 players, signs everywhere. The internet hadn't really exploded yet, but when it came to food, the Philippines were covered.
Anyway, honestly, as DCOM Vice President, Rocket is member of the Digital Commerce Association, and I talked to a lot of people, and when they arrived, I heard a lot of people who was, very reluctant to that kind of the big foreigner machine. It's true also that the first month was not as magic as we could expect, but personally, that's my mindset. Everybody should pray for Rocket to be a success. It's a pioneer industry. You need a big machine, a big mechanic to evangelize the market, to push the industry. And let's be honest, it's not CashCash who can do that. It's not any of our competitor.
Yeah.
It must be a huge thing. And the only thing who have the mean to do that would be the classic retailer, the SM and Co. As of today, they are still studying the digital, see if how, when they could get inside. And we know that in this company things take time. So if you are expecting a rush of adrenaline in the business, you have to pray for Rocket to success. We need that.
And the good thing is they are raising brand awareness.
Also, I think in any case they are raising internet usage.
Yep.
Not only to chat, to Facebook, Twitter, whatever, but to buy, to compare price,
and
whatever.
They have the big money to run TVCs, billboards on that side, which still matters to people.
It's another discussion for that. I would prefer them to put their money in customer support, in I think.
I have a theory there.
What is it?
Actually, my theory about Rocket is, for them there is value in quote-unquote poor customer support.
Why they would do that?
It's salon.
Yeah,
if you work for Rocket and you're used to the whip, what is the best news you can get? Also for the customer. Amazon bought you.
Of course.
Suddenly work morale goes like that.
Yeah, but the problem is Amazon, I mean, everybody knows that it's their exit, but Amazon will not buy a so-so company. They'll buy infrastructure, brand awareness, customer loyalty, recurring purchase, and the problem is, I don't know a lot, it's true, but the few people I know who bought with Rocket have a so-so experience. And with this level of professionalism, you should expect something.
I actually don't think that in Asia or in Asian, they will sell to Amazon. I think their exit is Walmart.
Why not? I heard it was also
a big international player who does not have that 100% customer satisfaction, thinking like Amazon and Tony Hsieh with delivering happiness, but who don't have a real presence in the scene. And if Rocket could, for some years, throw money against brand awareness, against their infrastructure, and improving the online buying culture, then a player like Walmart could immediately buy a demographic.
Well, you know,
and they buy a presence without having to compete with SM and...
That's what Groupon did in Europe when they bought CityDeal, for example. They bought 9 countries, and honestly, on our little point of view, you and me, whoever will buy Lazada, if they are bought, it's good for us. If it's Walmart or Amazon, in any case, it's a very good call. So the conclusion of that Rocket chapter is just that everybody have interest to see Rocket success. And when Rocket has issue or when things are perfectible, I think the industry should not dance or shake their hands. They should be, you should pray for Rocket to success.
Not only, well, of course, there's a customer side, but also level of developers, employees.
Yeah, they had
rather than like going to Accenture, like there is life in startups. You can join a younger company. You don't have to go to university, have the wall sponsored or the auditorium even by Accenture. Soon also to come by NetSuite.
No, actually, there was they had how can I say in English? Not a very good story in developer Rocket. They hire a lot of developers.
Yeah, but I think I personally have. Sorry, Filipinos, you know my opinion on that, but I have a slightly different attitude. Because they came here, they paid a massive premium for local rates. And then you had some developers who said, wow, the internet is fast here, let's download my torrents. I mean, like if you're going to hire me and you give me a premium almost 50%, I will know that I need to do a lot. That I need to work for it, and that the first 6 months I will be assessed every minute.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but on the other way, for me, you have to adapt yourself to the local specificities. If you're not able to do that, if you do the Blitzkrieg way, and you just arrive and you try to bend everything to your need, it will not work.
But they came here and like, not to defend them, because it's not the culture, so I learned that as well, but they came here and it's not really like they needed the people. Because they have all code. Everything are copies of existing websites.
Yeah,
in some countries, so they could deploy it.
Yes and no, because they lay off this developer, but they hire a lot of developer in China.
But it's talent scouting they do.
But doesn't change anything. They had development needs, I'm just saying,
yeah.
And they needed local workforce. And finally they did it in China instead of here. But anyway...
But they closed in China as well.
Are they closed also in China?
Oh. As far last I heard, they closed there as well. Okay. They don't keep on expanding. It's more and more copycats they roll out under new brands. For new markets.
We'll see. Anyway, we'll see. But
they're positive. I love their presence here.
Me too. I think it's very good. And suddenly, I remember when my friend from Europe contacted me and said, "Well, Philippines is the backbone of rocket in Asia." I mean, for once, people here,
in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. People talk about tech in Philippines on a positive way. Cool. I mean, just for that, it's already a big step. So no, and also this is a strong signal. This is a signal sent to the investor environment. You know, the somewhere are not completely crazy. So if we decided to do something in Philippines, maybe that means there is something to see in Philippines.
They have good advisors.
So that's why, in any case, it was also a good signal for the regional investor environment. So in any case, we have interest for them to succeed.
And then JP Morgan joining.
Yeah, but
their Asian story.
Every week, someone in. Yeah, it's impressive their capacity to raise funds.
And all that just because in 1996 when they started with their German history, they had a good gamble because the day they launched their eBay clone, they weren't convinced, shall we do this or shall we do another concept?
No, they have a good lineup of success, there is no doubt about that. And another thing also, they put some of their own money in this adventure, which always a good thing to reassure.
They made enough with Groupon.
Yeah, they have a Groupon, the
City Deals,
Airbnb also, they have a clone somewhere. I mean,
I read today they are closing one already.
One, you mean the whole Airbnb? No, just one country.
In one country in Asia. So must be in Singapore, AirSync or something. They are closing one already. I read it in Tech in Asia.
It goes so fast. I know that in August last year they closed like Turkey. They closed 400 people like that. So yeah.
For them, I think it's waiting now in Europe to sell.
Let's see.
Zalando.
Anyway, I can see that everybody is in the. It's like the valley. So yeah, it's also like that in the valley.
Yeah. Okay, we have finally reached, after CashCashPinoy, startups getting money, funding.
Yeah.
Kickstart, ID Space, who focus less on internet startups, more on no one's listening, patentable possibilities, but it's coming slowly but surely.
I think on the seed it's already there. Now you will have more players, but you talk about 2, I know 3 or 4 over door you could knock.
Yeah.
So I think the seed scene is definitely there. The project, there is probably not enough, or as you were saying earlier, not enough good project, but the energy is there. I was member of Manila Startup Weekend 2 weeks ago with Kickstart, and honestly, so there was some interesting projects. So you can see that the energy is there. There is already a few projects. I know Kickstart has 1 or 2 quite interesting, and they start to ramping up. So there is some good thing. Me, I think personally that the problem of this local scene of entrepreneur is they underestimate the needs of cash. I mean, rule number one, if you can avoid, rule number one, if you can avoid to raise cash, don't raise cash. Raising cash, it's not the ultimate graal. It's not that who make the business. Yeah. But unfortunately, in our business, there is a need of cash. You develop software, that means it's going to take time. And before making money, it's going to make more times. You have an e-commerce business, it needs resources. Resources need cash, even if you start to sell. So I think the main issue that I see is, you know, to give you an example, before a long time ago, I was marketing director of Warner Music. So I was working in the music industry. And I remember seeing all these bands, you know, signed. And when they used to see their record, sorry, it was still CD at this time. When they used to see their CD at the shop, they thought it was done. It's done.
That's when it starts.
I had my record. Exactly. No, my friend. It's not that it's really start. It's exactly the same thing. I see on all these group events or whatever, oh, I raised my, we're talking peso, I raised my 3 million, I raised my 2 million peso, whatever. So they think the game is done, but nothing actually. And for the best project, that's where the issue are going to start, because you can be sure that in 6, 9 or 12 months, there will be a need an additional round. And at this specific round, as of today, in Philippines, we are naked. There is no door to knock for that type of amount as of today. If you need 50,000, yes. If you need $500,000 US, if you need $1 million US,
Singapore.
Yeah, but then it's another story.
Yep.
When you never done that before, when you don't have the contact, when you don't have just the capacity to go outside of the country to pitch your project or whatever, yeah, Singapore, Hong Kong, even some China, Indonesia, Australian, I even talked to a Russian fund. So on these guys, there is, and they are listening, but it's still a long road. And I just hope that we will have soon some Series A, Series B found opportunity in the country, or else you will see a lot of pretty good projects
then,
who will burn out. So
what do you think is an issue with that at the moment? Because we have seen some very potential startups in last year, and some of them have even raised seed funding. But you also say, like, then the work starts. What should they do? When they get money, should start hiring, scale up, send out people to sell?
I think it depends a lot of your project. For example, if you are on software development, you know that you will not make cash before a certain time. So for me, when you make your seeds, start to work on your Series A.
Yeah.
Because you know it will take time. So if you are on e-commerce...
That's something people underestimate as well.
Yeah,
as soon as you sign, start raising your next round already.
Especially when you know it's going to be hard. Especially it's going to take time. The second one, hello. The second, on the other way, let's say that you are in e-commerce. So normally you are going to generate revenue quite fast. So you have to be picky. I mean, can I ramp up by myself in organic, or will I need resources? Or another problem, maybe I'm going to grow up in organic, so I'm going to show to everybody that there is a market here. And maybe someone will come and take out by being faster and bigger my market. So it's very complicated to give a specific rules that really depends on where you are. But my advice as of today, whatever is your project, you have to explore the new possibility of raising now.
Yeah, for me, every time I hear an idea, which we could basically launch, like the first thing that, or build, the first thing that comes to mind for me is usually, how do I pitch it? Do I have enough of contacts to actually sell, get clients? Rather than going the organic and at some point a hockey stick. But probably I'll be stuck at 400 maximum.
No, but that's exactly what you were saying. It depends a lot. Honestly, it depends also on your personal contact. If, because for example, you just raise seeds, contact guy now for a Series A. Of course, you have nothing to show to them now, but that doesn't change anything. At least you're already in contact. So you are already on their radar. So at this point, when you have something, you can feed them regularly with a few insights. Show them that there is life in your project, there is movement, things are happening. It really depends. As of today, right now, honestly, if you can avoid to raise, if in your business model, your project, whatever, you have the capacity to avoid a Series A, that's my call, avoid, because as of today it's in the blur.
The best funding is paying clients.
It helps. But that's also the tricky thing, except in a few e-commerce segments as of today, it's complicated to know where will be the segment when you will have clients from scratch. It's I think really on our ecosystem, that's what's lacking. Because the quality of project, I'm sure the more the people, especially the young one, will see that there is opportunity, the more you will start to see some interesting, creative, efficient projects. So I'm not worried about the quality of the project. I'm have more question about the financial ecosystem. I think it will happen.
It's a catch-22. It keeps on egg and chicken situation.
Yes,
most of the time.
Yes and no, because how can I say that? If there is money available, there is good chances that you will find interesting project. I mean, we are not like in Japan or in Europe where there is not enough good project.
Yeah.
Here you still have a lot of things to pop up, and once again, you don't have to be a genius. There is some 101 digital businesses which are empty as of today. You can just fulfill it.
Affiliates.
For example, a good execution, that's only what you have to deliver, more or less. On the other way, you can have the project of the year, of the millennium, but if you have no one in front of you to pitch it, so that's why I really think the money aspect is important. And I can see by talking a lot around for Cash that there is now a good movement. Things are really moving, but it's tricky to know if you will start to have Series A in 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months, and that changed a lot. Because a lot of this company we were talking about, it's going to be a question of life or death for them. So that's the tricky thing. So let's touch wood.
I think it will happen.
We were talking about that, we need a Cinderella story.
I don't think that will happen now, yet not this year, to be honest.
Me, I hope.
Well, you know my opinion, I think you will be the Cinderella story.
I hope you're right, but that's really what the environment needs today. It starts from the garage of my dad and it finish at the stock market, bought by I don't know who, invested $20 million on a value of 100. I mean, this is what we need now, because from all the guys I'm talking to, you can see that that's really the last restraints.
And on that note, we have 1 minute 20. Your last tips for founders.
For looking for money or for founders?
In general, for founders in the Philippine startup scene.
Well, I think the key stuff is, as of today, right now, you don't need to be a genius to success. There is, first thing first, internet is only an execution business.
Yeah.
That's all. You don't need to be a genius, that's the first thing. But now, in our country, as of today, it's even easier. You have a lot of basic business where no one is on it. So if you want to jump into this journey, this adventure, no need to, make a crazy discovery, be the next Facebook, or no, you don't need to reinvent. Just found a good idea who already perform everywhere, adapt it to our local specificities, and execute it well. That's all.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for your invitation.
Thanks to the people at CashCashPinoy who let their boss out to join us. Thanks for being a success in digital. Thank you to the people at New Media Factory. Check out their website and all other shows on nmfnetwork.tv. And thanks to the people at Beyond the Box, your favorite, and if not, it should become your favorite Apple store in Manila. I'm out here.